Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And one of the movies that we watched during quarantine that was one of the more interesting movies was this movie called Antrum, the deadliest film ever made. And I have a lot of thoughts about this movie, both positive and negative, but we'll get into them all. But overall, the idea of this movie is it's one half a mockumentary about a fictional 70s cult satanic film that famously has killed everyone who's ever watched it, and one half just that movie.
Yeah. The majority of the film is the movie that the mockumentary is talking about. And it's done dead serious.
Yes. And so you have these like bookends, and then you have the movie itself in the middle. The movie itself, the actual satanic film, is basically the idea of that movie is it's this kid whose dog had to be euthanized for reasons that you find out over the course of the story.
Yeah. And
he and his sister have decided to dig into hell to get her dog's soul back and save the soul.
Yeah.
And then shit happens.
Yeah.
That's basically the thing. I have mixed feelings on this movie, but overall I liked it.
I like the whole thing. Okay. I like the whole thing, but I think I know what your problems with the movie are.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the faux documentary part of the film I felt was very unnecessary.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Because, like, the faux documentary, it bookends the movie. You open it with all these people talking about the film and the history of the film, and it's this, like, big, epic build-up. And first off, that build-up kind of built up a movie that didn't deliver for me.
Well, yeah, it's how do you fucking build up a movie that's supposed to kill you and then show the movie?
Yeah.
Like, that was the biggest problem. Like, I get what they were doing.
Yeah, well, they were trying to do, like, a little bit of that Texas Chainsaw Massacre magic of, like making you believe this thing is real before you start watching it.
Yeah, but, like, Texas Chainsaw did that with a title card.
I know, just one fast little title card.
Bam. Like, if they had just done that, I think, instead of building up the movie for, like, 15 minutes as this thing that fucking kills you and, you know, everything about it is mysterious and weird, but we managed to find it. Like, that felt really unnecessary. The only bit about that documentary I felt was necessary was the end. I thought probably would have been a better idea is if they had done it like Cannibal Holocaust style. Where we watch the movie, but instead of a documentary, it's actually like a movie itself.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, because then they could have gotten across the information that the movie itself doesn't necessarily give you, while not breaking, you know, like cinema verite or whatever. You know, like it would have held together a little bit better, which annoys me because the centerpiece. The movie of Antrum within Antrum is really good.
That is the best part. And I say that even saying that it didn't live up to the expectations that were built up from the previous one. The movie itself is actually really good. It does a fantastic job of recreating the feeling of a movie that was made in the 70s.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Deathbed, the Bed That Eats.
Yes,
you know?
It did. It really did. It has that same kind of culty feel. And what I also liked about it was that I couldn't 100% tell the whole time how they were doing each effect. Like, there were times where it felt like it was actually being shot on 16 millimeter, and then there were times where it looked like it might have been digital filmmaking, but like with a filter on it. And there were times where I was questioning whether it was even that. So like they did a good job that I wasn't 100% not quite sure how they were achieving the effect.
Yeah, there were some times you could tell there was digital manipulation involved.
Well, I think even if they shot anything on like a 16 millimeter reel, they still put filters on top of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
To add more scratches.
Yeah. It definitely is supposed to have that like kind of grindhouse kind of, we're deliberately doing the film effects.
Now, at the beginning of the movie, I was trying to like track that a little bit more, but I eventually just got so immersed in the movie and its story that like I didn't really care how it was being achieved. Yeah, I was sold on it.
Yeah, because the movie itself is this weird parable.
Yeah.
It's this really weird parable about entering hell as these two characters dig this hole deeper and deeper. And the hole itself becomes deeper both literally and metaphorically.
Yes.
You know?
But here's the thing. That right there, the literally and metaphorically thing, that's what becomes part of the problem to me with having the mockumentary surrounding the movie. Because the mockumentary surrounding the movie gives you this pretty definitive, the movie is satanic and evil.
Yeah.
It kills people. But when I'm watching the actual narrative of the movie within the movie, the narrative of the movie within the movie is this big old question over whether anything satanic's even happening or whether they're kind of bringing that upon themselves as they're going through it. And I feel like that question, what's the point of asking that question if you're going to answer it in the mockumentary beforehand?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like and it was the mockumentary format that kind of made that a little bit of a problem. Now, here's the thing. We're kind of unintentionally over accentuating a negative here.
Yes.
Because the movie itself is actually really good.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Like I super enjoyed that the movie within the movie in this movie, which is technically the main movie.
Yeah,
like it is a majority of the runtime.
Yeah, but I mean, like I think they could have done the same thing with a Cannibal Holocaust like wraparound.
Yeah, they could have,
and you wouldn't have felt like some sort of like fourth wall was broken.
Even if they had made like a separate documentary to hype up the movie or something, that might have been a little bit.
Yeah. Like they did with Blair Witch.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe if they had done that, I would have had enough of a separation to not feel like it was affecting the movie itself too much. But
yeah.
But here's the thing: the movie within the movie, they did a really fucking great job. Like, there's a lot of at the beginning of the movie, there's this point in which they're climbing this hill, and it's the most 70s looking shot I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
Where they're on the top of this hill, and there's this vague reflection of the devil in the clouds behind them. And that was like one of the most beautiful and the most 70s looking shots I've ever seen.
Yeah. There's the occasional use of the zoom.
Yep.
You know,
there were times where they did shots where I'm like, that's not very 70s. That's actually more 80s because that's an Evil Dead shot. Sometimes. But they worked.
Yeah. But they tried to, for the most part, they tried to keep it like the 70s, like Texas Chainsaw.
100%.
You know, kind of stuff. Especially when they get
There's even a little Last House on the Left in this.
There is. Yeah. Yeah. But the parts I felt were super Texas Chainsaw were when they got to the two rednecks.
Yes.
You know.
I just want to say, I actually really like this movie. If you like satanic films, if you like satanic cult films, this is a great throwback.
Yeah, thumbs up. That
being said, like, you might have the same problem I had where the mockumentary gets in the way of the proper movie sometimes. So I think that we should probably move on to the spoilers because, yeah. So here are the spoilers. That reminds me, I'm going to splice this into the first part of the video before the spoilers. This movie opens up with a dog being euthanized. I am just warning you right now. And with that said, back to the spoilers.
So these two rednecks have a gigantic Baphomet oven that they cook people in.
Yup.
They fuck them and kill them and eat them.
This movie has a lot of cool, like weird ass shit that happens throughout it. Like, there's a point in which they come across this Japanese dude who's about to he's about to admit seppuku, and you can only assume it's because his daughter or something died, because he's got like the stuffed bunny that I'm assuming was like
like he's speaking Japanese, so we can't, and they don't translate it, so we can't tell what's happening.
So like he's like gonna commit seppuku, and they which if you don't know, that's when you like stab yourself in the gut and disembowel yourself in a it's the Japanese version of slicing your wrists, but it's a lot more honorable, I guess is the idea.
Some samurais did.
Yep. So they stumble across that guy that's gonna do that in the woods, and he ends up seeing them, so he ends up not committing suicide and wandering off all upset because he didn't want them to see that. And then they later stumble across him being burned in that Baphomet oven by these two rednecks. But here's the thing. This is what I mean when I say that, like, the mockumentary gets in the way of the movie itself for me, because, like, the question of whether or not the rednecks are real or whether or not they're devils is kind of a moot point if I'm supposed to assume the entire movie's the devil. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And the movie within the movie is playing with that question, so I was just like, well, why even bother putting that question here?
Well, like I think they tried
like
to set up the idea that it's the devil's movie. Like this is a movie a demon put together.
And so like I had this problem where the meta narrative was getting in the way of the actual narrative within the movie. To the point where I almost didn't even need the meta narrative. I would have just watched a 70s throwback like this and been totally fine with that. And to that end, I also don't think the movie necessarily needed. There's these points in which they explain at the beginning of the movie someone tampered with the footage and sliced together like people being like tortured.
Oh yeah, that I forgot about that part. That was weird.
And that part was weird because even in the meta narrative of the movie, that goes nowhere.
Yeah, because you're just like, all right, so what?
I'm like,
and it's like modern footage too, which was really jarring.
That was like, I don't think you needed that. Like the thing I would have kept from the meta narrative. Like, even if you remove the documentary, that I thought was great to have was just the weird little symbols that would appear.
Yeah. The symbols that pop
up. The
little
satanic summoning symbols. I think those would have been great to keep. I just don't think you needed the documentary, and I don't think you needed the weird splicing of...
Yeah. That was really strange. Mm-hmm. Like, I kept...
The footage of, like, cutting to the devil himself staring at you was great,
though.
Oh,
yeah.
That was nice and creepy.
Come on. Like, you gotta do that. Shit.
It looked like fucking like Victor Crowley, not Victor Crowley, Aleister Crowley in devil makeup staring at you.
No, it was great. But the modern footage where people are being tortured, and here's what we mean, like, you're not going to see a lot of it, but the documentary about the movie that you're watching, the wraparound segment, makes a much bigger deal about it because it's like you just get a couple of frames every now and then, and you're like, why?
And there were some that you can't that were really well hidden that they point out at the end, and that's the one thing you would lose if you lost the mockumentary is the pointing out of all the symbols. But it's fine.
Yeah, but like
most of them were so noticeable. I was just like, I don't think you needed to explain this to me.
Yeah. It's like, but I definitely would have gotten rid of the modern footage part.
Me too.
You know,
me too.
Like that I thought dragged it. That was weird.
Even if you did it Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, I might have been more okay. I might have gotten less in the way where you just had like a text crawl at the beginning, like this was a lost film by Aleister Crowley or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
People who have watched it have been known to die of fright or something. Like I probably would have it would have been quick. It would have gotten over, and I probably would have forgotten about it by the time.
You could have just done everything in a title screen, and then had the bit at the end after the movie is over, because there's a point where the movie ends, but it doesn't, and then it does that again because you're watching a movie in a movie.
Also, the meta-narrative breaks itself because at the end of the movie when you have like the credits of the mockumentary versus the credits of the movie, the credits of the mockumentary, I'm sitting there going like, why aren't all these people dead?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, that was...
Because these people are all talking like they've seen it.
Whereas, like, I thought that it would have been better to just say, like, for some reason, every time there's a public viewing, people die, so they're going to try something different.
I mean, I did like that, like some of the meta narrative like stories separately, like the guy showing the satanic film, but he laced all the popcorn with acid. I thought that
that was a fun bit.
That was a great story in of itself. In fact, I would have been fine with a movie just about someone showing those movies. Like,
that also would have been a way to do it. You know.
Like I think it's mentioned in the movie itself, but like cigarette burns, you know?
Yeah, cigarette burns was mentioned.
The thing about cigarette burns is that because of movies like Cigarette Burns, I wasn't actually expecting the movie within the movie to have a story. Yeah, and I think if it didn't have a story and it was just weird psychedelic shit, I probably wouldn't care as much about the meta narrative interfering anything. Because the story itself has a story. I'm going like, but I'm more invested in the story within the movie than I am the meta narrative, and the meta narrative is getting in the way of that story. So what the fuck?
It's the weirdness where it's like the mockumentary that bookends the film is really mediocre, but the centerpiece, Antrum, is super good.
Now with that all said, I'm going to stop talking about the mockumentary now and just talk about Antrum, the movie within the movie, because I do want you to know how good that is. I do. So you now know my complaints about the movie. Now let's talk about the stuff that fucking works about this movie, and that's the movie within the movie. the hillbillies were so fucking
Hillbillies were great.
And I also like that you could like I was sitting there watching them like they're speaking some sort of foreign language, and I wasn't sure what it was.
Slavic.
Yeah, and you're just like, where the fuck is this movie taking place?
Yeah, because you assumed it was America,
and then because here's the thing, a lot of the backgrounds looked like Los Angeles, mountainscapes. And then all of a sudden, there's like a random Japanese dude who speaks Japanese, and then there's random 2 Slavic hillbillies. And I'm just like, where is this taking place? And I kind of like that. It added to this weirdness of like, are they in hell?
Are they in hell?
Are they not in hell?
Not?
Are these demons that are all trapped in hell? You have the guy who committed suicide, and then you have like the 2 hillbillies that fuck deer and kill people.
Oh my god, that scene where that dude's just fucking the deer corpse. You're like, whoa!
There is that one point in which he has a nightmare that indicate that the hillbillies are probably demons, or maybe demons, maybe not, where he has this dream of these 2 demons rising up and then putting on
skin
that looks like the hillbillies. And that stuff is all great. Like, I love how like the sister, I really liked her in this movie because the sister who's like leading, because the whole idea is the sister is trying to get her brother to get over the death of their dog, because the dog had to be euthanized because we're in the spoiler section. He bit the dog bit the kid. Yeah. In like an attack.
Yeah, and the beginning of the movie starts with, why did the dog have to die? Do you think the dog's in heaven? The mom goes, no, she was a bad dog.
Yeah. And, well, here's the thing. At first, I'm like, oh man, the mom fucked up for saying that or whatever. But then later, you see the scene. I'm like, oh, I get it. Like the dog attacked the kid, so they had to put it down. I get it. It's tragic, but I understand it more.
Yeah.
And so the sister is trying to help the brother. Music. Hey, so the sister's trying to help the brother by trying to help him get over the dog's death by creating this scenario, which she reveals was fake.
Doing this psychodrama where they're like
digging into hell to save his soul, and she was going to hide like the dog's collar somewhere so that he'll find it, and was like, we saved the dog's soul. But then like the crazy hillbillies start attacking them, and there's like a weird creature in the woods that's like stalking them, and at the kids having these nightmares / possible hallucinations of creepy river Styx on the river, and like devils talking to him and shit. And so you have this whole question the entire time: are they going into hell, or are they being attacked by hillbillies and their brains are just latching onto the hell stuff?
Plus there's that moment where the sister is saying like, I got this book of shadows from my friend Nick. She later admits that like Nick is made up and she made the book herself.
Yeah, she drew it all.
Yeah, and then the boy's like, but I met him.
I met Nick.
I met Nick.
And that's when you find out that like there was possibly the devil behind a dumpster, which felt so David Lynch.
Oh yeah.
This devil behind this dumpster in this diner that told him about everything that was going to happen. So by the end of the story, you're pretty sure that they did go into hell. Yeah, ostensibly. But the movie plays with you, and you're like wondering the entire time because there's enough plausible deniability for a lot of it. What's going on? And I kind of like that journey because you're just like, whoa, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, what the fuck's happening? This is kind of fucking amazing.
And I love all like the 70s filmmaking tricks they do that just feel so vintage. Like the one with the devil in the clouds. That's probably my favorite one. But there's a lot throughout this movie that they do.
Well, I even like the chapter headings.
Yes,
where it's just the book that's fallen open, and there's like a demon hand that like turns a page.
There are some like weird moments that were like that kind of like evoked the more cheesier moments from 70s films. Like if you've ever seen movies like Food of the Gods, like you'll have like these realistic rats, and all of a sudden you'll have these like really paper-looking fucking rats.
Oh yeah.
In this movie, there's a point in which they see a squirrel, and it's like a stop-motion, really badly animated squirrel.
Yeah. It's like a stop-motion squirrel right out of that fucking like Russian Alice in Wonderland stop-motion movie.
100%. And you're going like, that does not look real at all. But here's the thing: it totally feels like something a 70s film would do. Like especially one of these cult films. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I also like that there's still plausible deniability even when you're pretty sure like the hell is real by the end of it. Like there's a point in which they think Cerberus is hunting them down the whole time, but then the kid ends up finding that it's this husky that has like its leg caught in a trap. So it's not like the gate. It's not like the chains of hell around the dog. He's got a bear trap on his foot that has this chain. So the whole chain noise they've been hearing the whole time, that's been this dog running in the woods hurt. And the reason why it's been like fucking like making all these growling noises is because it's hurt.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it ends on, and the movie Antrum ends on a big question.
Yes.
You know, it ends on a big question because you're not exactly. It's leading up to. It's really kind of good. It's this Hitchcockian moment, but the reason it works so well is because it doesn't show you the payoff.
Nope.
The movie just ends.
No, absolutely, and I'm not going to fully spoil what that moment is.
No, it's really good.
But that movement's great. But you do get more moments where you're pretty sure that the devil stuff is totally real, like when she's running in the woods looking for her brother, and there's like all these like weird creatures in the woods that are watching her, and they don't look 100% human.
yeah. You know, and they're like like cheesy shadow effects and stuff.
You know, but even then, there's a little plausible deniability because she was drugged beforehand by the fucking hillbilly. So
you don't know.
You know, but I like that about the movie. I totally like that. Like it's trippy as fuck at times.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing, like there's a part of me because of like the mockumentary stuff that thought it was going to be like an Aleister Crowley film.
Oh yeah, like Aleister Crowley or Kenneth Anger,
like a Kenneth Anger film. Like it's going to be just like weird shit happening one after another. I didn't expect it to have like a full on narrative with characters that I actually was like really latching on to and like questions that I was actually curious. Oh man, where's this going?
Yeah. You don't know where it's going. Like you get halfway through that thing, and you're like, I have no idea where we're gonna go.
Nope. You know? I really like the actress who played the sister. She's got like. She herself looks like she's from the 70s because she kind of looks like Leia.
Yeah.
She kind of looks like, what's the actress's name who plays Leia?
Carrie Fisher.
She kind of looks like young Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
And she's kind of got like this tone to the way she's acting that reminds you of like Jennifer Connelly from The Labyrinth.
Yeah.
You know, like this kind of like ethereal way of talking the whole time. And so like it feels very period. And I really like that.
Yeah, it's a thing that they did in Labyrinth that she did in Labyrinth because they were trying to emulate Jean Cocteau.
Yes, and so it's definitely got that kind of feel. And the kid feels like a kid right out of like an Italian movie.
Like, oh yeah, totally.
He's
like a weird
like
overdubbed voice. Yeah, not nearly as annoying though.
No,
you know. Oh my God, he is
like
not...
I actually cared about this kid.
Yeah. You don't go, oh kid, shut there. Okay, there are a few times where you say that, but it's not like Bob from fucking House by the Cemetery. We were like, oh my God, kid, shut the fuck up.
I do have one moment where I question the character's decisions though, because I was really fucking confused for a second. There's a point in which they have an argument over brushing their teeth.
Yes.
And where she's trying to get him to brush his teeth, and he doesn't want to, and he wants her to
wash her feet.
So she makes up the story about Cerberus hunting down people who are smelly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but wait, isn't that an argument to wash your feet first off?
Yeah.
Isn't it an argument to still wash your feet? And number two, how the fuck is he brushing his teeth, and why does he go outside to do that?
Yeah.
They're in the middle of the woods. Did you bring water? Like,
yeah, I assume they did.
But then there's a point in which like that leads to him walking outside on his own, and I'm like, I would not let that kid walk in the woods alone like that. Especially if you think there's like a bear out there or something.
Yeah, fuck no.
I would not do that. And then like he sees like that's when he sees like the River Styx guy with like this weird dead looking girl on this boat.
It's actually yeah. And at first you're like, is that his sister?
Yeah, at first I was like, is it? I'm not sure.
But it actually when you see it later on, you're like, oh no, I think that actually is literally just somebody else.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, did he just brush his teeth with a lake water? Was that what happened? And I'm like, this is such a minor thing, but I found myself questioning that. I was just like, is that what just happened?
Oh my God.
This movie's a lot of fun. If you can get past the mockumentary stuff and just watch the movie within the movie, this movie's a lot of fun. If you like those 70s cult films, if you like movies like Last House on the Left, even if you like stuff like the Kenneth Anger stuff,
oh yeah,
this movie definitely like scratches that itch.
Oh yeah.
And the acting is totally on par with the kind of movies you would have back then.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, they recreated that perfectly. It's not like they're mocking it. It's like they've just actually...
It's a loving recreation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and you were right, especially in the way they did do the overdubbing, where it's a kind of, we're digging a hole.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here.
The entire time I kept expecting David Bowie to show up because he was
I know,
talking
right?
that way.
Yeah. Dance, magic dance.
Which is technically an 80s movie, but it's like evoking qualities of
70s flicks.
Yeah. As well as
Jean Cocteau.
Jean Cocteau and the surrealism.
Yep.
Which a lot of satanic cult films are also inspired by that stuff. So it makes sense.
Yeah. A lot of satanic films are inspired by Jean Cocteau.
Mm-hmm. So, is there anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
I really liked it. I think this is worth checking out. It's on Amazon Prime. You could just watch it there. It's totally worth your time. The low points of the bookends is it's really
you can get
we
past
talked
it.
About it a lot, but it's really
you can get past
really
it.
Not
you can totally get past it. It's just annoying at first. And I guess with that said, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can follow me on twitch.tv/count_Jackula. I stream most days at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Count_Jackula. It's like there's a pattern. And you will also be notified through my Twitter when I'm streaming, and we'd love to see you there.
Y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there. And if you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. If you've seen the movie Antrum. If you've seen the movie Antrum, leave a comment below letting us know what you think. Did the mockumentary stuff bother you? Did it not? Let us know. If you haven't rung my notification bell, be sure to ring that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you would like to help out our channels more directly, then be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And with that said, we got some more shit to watch, so we're gonna go do that. Peace out, my fellow gorehounds.